And there's the title screen. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Graveyard Shift. It is currently 12:41 a.m. here in South Carolina, February 10th. Sure. And we're playing Rockman X4. If you couldn't tell from that incredibly J-pop opening movie. I don't know. For some reason, I decided that I was going to be playing the Japanese version and did not consider that the menus would be in Japanese. I don't really have any good reasons for playing the Japanese version. I've been playing this game a lot lately and practicing it. Haven't got through much of it, but I'm determined to beat this game as Zero, since I've never beaten him as Zero before, since the final boss is pretty difficult. The voice acting is a little bit better in this one. This is the PSX. So, this was before they knew how to redub previously dubbed dialogue. And before they really got quality voice actors and voice direction. It doesn't really matter, there's not really anything important going on in the plot. This is the part where Zero has a dream about Dr. Wily, who is revealed to be his creator. So we get this little flashback before he wakes up, and we find out whatever current disaster is happening. When we get this ominous scene of Reploid blood, because I guess robots have blood in them. So some robots are going Maverick, which is essentially, in this world, robots go start malfunctioning, they start attacking humans or whatever, or not doing whatever their purpose is, and they're called Mavericks. Now we're gonna go to Sky Lagoon, which is, I don't know if it's a city in the sky or if it's a colony above Earth, but something bad's happening there. I'm gonna change my controls real quick. Z-Saber, jump, dash. I want Giga Attack to be this. No, sorry, this is, I think that's the learned move. And this is Giga Attack. That should be right. Jump slash. I'm using an arcade stick for this one, for whatever reason. It's a little bit easier to do things like charge attacks or dash and jump than using a regular 4-direction pad. And I have a 6-button pad. I said 4-direction pad, I meant 4-button pad. I have a 6-button pad, but it's a little bit cramped of an interface. And Zero in this game has a kind of a fighting game-esque moveset. So it helps a little bit to have a little more room in the controls. This is the first game where you really get to play as Zero. X3 before this, you get to have Zero come in for parts of the stages, but not the bosses. And he's mostly like X, except more powerful. You can charge like 2 more levels than X. He has a more powerful charge attack, and then he can use the sword. But this is where he comes into his own, and he's just an entire playable character with his own moveset and a lot of sword-based attacks. Kenji Inafune, the producer on this game, a long time ago said he wanted Zero to be the main character of the X series, but Mega Man X kind of became the character because they didn't want the main character to be too different from the Mega Man series. But it's pretty obvious in this game that Zero is the main character because all the important plot developments happen in Zero's story. It's not like the stories are happening simultaneously. They're kind of like alternate stories, but X gets like double, who's some navigation person who predictably betrays you later, but he's not really an interesting character or really fleshed out at all. The characters here aren't like super fleshed out, but each character has their own. It has like a vague backstory, and you get kind of some different dialogue with Zero, which establishes them more as characters. The bosses, I mean. Where basically everybody, when you play as X, is a little bit more generic before you fight them. But it's pretty obvious in this game that Zero is the main character. Zero also kind of gets a more varied. Well, I guess I wouldn't say, but a more interesting not a more varied moveset, but a more interesting one. X just kind of gets regular special weapons that work like Mega Man weapons have always, but Zero gets completely different moves, so you'll see as we play it, he'll get some new attack moves that work situationally, and then there's some straight special moves, but more importantly, most of them don't use up special energy, so you can kind of just use them forever. This is Colonel. He's the leader of the Repliforce. They're an army of Reploids, which are the human-like robots. And basically, they are initiating a military coup, and they want to create a world only for Reploids. But then that causes them to be labeled as Mavericks, and now Zero has to hunt them down. Okay, let's save in block 1. So basically, there's a lot of, "What are you doing, Colonel? You're gonna be labeled as a Maverick," and he's like, "Ah, blah blah blah. People are gonna misunderstand us. We only want this thing." And then it's like, "Well, we have to have the inevitable battle." Oops, I went back to the title screen. Should have paid a little bit more attention. I think I saved though. Oh, here we go. I think this is the right save. Yeah, this is the bit where the Repliforce decides that they're going to rebel. And General, because that's his name, General. Yes, right. General and Colonel. In general, the leader of the Repliforce is having his little rally with all the Repliforce, declaring their independence and their intention to create a new world only for the robots. He's giving an inspirational speech here. And then this is the bit where we get fascist robot imagery. In the American dub, Colonel has a real bad British accent. That doesn't sound like any British person, of course. It's pretty great. Everyone's like, Repliforce, Repliforce. And then we get Sigma over here in the background, because it's always Sigma. And of course he's got some incredible overarching plan to lead people astray before you figure out it's Sigma. Oh. Oh, this is Iris, who we saved earlier. She's the brother somehow of Colonel. I don't know how robots have siblings, but that's what it is. And they're just gonna give us a rundown of what each of these people are. We'll get to it when we get to it. You might be hearing a very loud clacking sound in the background. That's my arcade stick. So sorry about that. I'm using a new setup where I'm recording sound separately from gameplay footage, so hopefully I can just adjust that in post. But if I can't, I'm sorry. SPIDUS. Oh, that's good. I haven't seen that before. Why? I think it's just called Web Spider in the American version. SPIDUS. That's real good. Let's go through here. This is probably the jumping attack is probably the most important attack in Zero's arsenal, at least from what I've played. Because it just has a huge hitbox. It'll just like hit things behind you. Oh, here's a barely hidden secret. That would be where you get armor upgrades for X. You get like an air dash upgrade right there if you're playing as X. But Zero doesn't get anything. Wily didn't leave. Wily's not like Dr. Light. He didn't leave any awesome upgrades for Zero. Also, Zero is kind of... He kind of doesn't need them. Although I would appreciate an air dash. I'm gonna try to not die before I get to the boss, because it usually takes me a couple tries to beat this boss, despite I kind of already knowing it. I have a tendency to choke on the last phase of the boss, so that's not great. I'm no speedrunner though. Okay, we're just gonna jump over here instead of taking these. I mean, if I really wanted to go fast, I would just ignore these enemies. Look at that, I missed that jump. Let's hope I don't get killed before I can get to the... Or somebody should give me a health. Come on, come on. Oh, there we go. So there's not... It's a PlayStation 1 game, so they have to load into the next area. The loads are not too bad. I don't know how it was on the original PlayStation 1 because I've never played the PlayStation 1 version. I played this a lot on the GameCube in the Mega Man X collection. Oh, shit. And then right now I'm just playing it on an emulator. I have the PC version, but it doesn't play nice with capture software. Yeah, the jumping attack just hits so many times. You just kind of want to always use it. And then when you hit the floor, you can... Oh, shit. You can give him that 3-hit combo. But like I said, this will like hit... If you saw that, it just hit the thing right behind me. It has a huge hitbox, which is good because a lot of games like this, the problem tends to be that you have to be in a very specific position to hit people with melee attacks, and it becomes kind of a chore maneuvering there. But this lets you kind of move pretty fast through the game. That'll give us full health. Should just kill those bees. Okay, nope. I shouldn't have tried to dash through that. Now we're gonna fight Web Spidus, I guess. And there's a little pre-boss dialogue, so each boss gets kind of a character. Nothing too interesting happens with this guy. He just mostly goes, "Oh, what are you doing? Are you really gonna start a coup?" And they're like, "Yeah, blah, 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 blah." And he's like, "No, stop, you'll be judged as Reploids," and, not Reploids. Wow, he sounds a lot more menacing in Japanese. "You'll be judged as Mavericks," and he's like, "I don't care, we're gonna get our independence." Okay, this guy's not too bad once you know what to do. If you try running away, that web homes on you and can get really tricky. So the trick is just to stay under him and dash once you see him throw out his web. Oh, nope. That's me fucking that up. There we go. No, usually you can get a second hit in. But I missed that one. I whiffed it. Nope, and I got hit again. The early stages, you don't have any health upgrades. So your health bar is kind of small, which makes the early boss fights kind of a chore. Okay, this part, he's going to run across his web. I'm going to try not to get hit. And then he's going to throw out spiders in the air. And what you want to do is just knock them. You want to attack them in the air before they can do anything. And you want to make sure that you're out of the way for those homing webs, because those are the things that are going to do the real damage. Yeah, there we go. Not too bad. That's probably one of the easier bosses to do when you don't have any upgrades. Yeah, there we go. I forgot what that thing's called, but basically I got a new move. We'll show it off in the next bit, but I think that's a good place to start with this series. Let's continue. We'll end this episode here, and we'll start the next episode on the next boss, where, let's see, we'll fight this mushroom guy in this bio laboratory. So let's call this the end of this episode. I'll probably keep playing, but let's pretend that I'm gonna edit it here, and then I'm gonna do a recording on a new day instead of having this be one big long running recording. Alright, see you next time.